Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really like giving oral, so that part is not so bad. I could even give up receiving for 5 years. But given that I think I could have fun being stuck to someone an hour and
What?
a half after, I don't know, it balances out for me.
What? Really? I'm not so judgmental, but I can't help it.
I know, I
How?
think I'm surprising you with some of my answers here.
I mean, that's always good, but that's what pushed it. It was that you can you can have fun with an hour and a half. It's like, yeah, yeah, that's built-in quality time. Yeah, we had our fun. It's done. Now we have to talk for about an hour and a half. You want to watch a movie? Hello, everyone. Welcome to 1000 Crazy Questions, the podcast. I'm your currently sane host, Houston Pierce. This is a podcast where I have at least one guest a week and ask them a series of crazy would you rather questions. We can to the psyche of our guests explore topics of questions maybe should have been explored. I take my questions from the listener from a list of 1,000 questions. You can submit questions, suggestions at me at 1keycrazyquestions@gmail.com or at 1000 Crazy Questions on Instagram. That's 1000 on Instagram. And yeah, your social media username will get a shout out. Question makes the episode. Thank you for submitting. Please rate and follow That's Great Questions on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, and all those other places. I appreciate your feedback and question suggestions. And that is the housekeeping. We got that out of the way. Let's get into the episode this week. This week we have she's a relationship coach specializing in supporting ethical non-monogamous or ENN couples, the insightful Lauren Hayes. Lauren, if you want to introduce yourself to the listeners and just tell them what you have going on professionally.
Hi. Yeah. So I am a relationship coach and I work mostly with people who are either in an ethically non-monogamous relationship, and that could be a swinging relationship or polyamorous, and maybe having some issues. And I also work a lot with couples who are interested in or curious about ethical non-monogamy. And so there's kind of in a stage of exploring and asking questions.
Nice. Does anyone ever come to you for therapy, or is that also part of the plan? Like, do polyamorous
Well,
couples come up to you for like, we're fighting? Does that happen?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
But I am a coach and not a therapist, so I always like to make that distinction. But yeah, like I said, sometimes people will have been in it for a while and just kind of hit a snag that they can't get past on their own.
gotcha, gotcha. I mean, well, of course we'll get into this, but what kind of what triggered? Like, how'd you get into it? Essentially, like what was the dive in for you?
Well, that's kind of two parts. Our first part was I was approached by a polyamorous guy who wanted to know if my husband and I were polyamorous because he was interested in dating me. And so that happened when we had really young children, and we both found it fascinating. And we asked him 100 questions, but we were not into it at the time. Then fast forward maybe like 7 years, and my husband just kind of brought it up out of the blue. Like, I feel like there's something more. And so that was a confusing conversation, and it brought up a lot of fears. But I asked, do you want a girlfriend? And he was like, I don't think so. I just feel like there's something else. So we just really started searching the internet for different things. And when we found the book, The Ethical Slut, that was really helpful to us. It really laid out like kind of the models that exist under ethical non-monogamy and how they operate and all these different things. And so that actually got us very interested. And then we ended up becoming swingers.
Man, crazy story. I mean, true story. And that book's that's a catching title right there. Real quick for the listeners, here are the rules of the game or conversation. There are two rules to this game/conversation. Rule number one, you must always answer the question no matter what. If you have no preference towards one or the other, you say the phrase flip a coin, meaning that each choice is 50-50 to you and that one is neither worse or better than the other. But that rarely happens, so it may not get used. Rule number two, whoever asks the question doesn't have to answer it if they choose not to. These rules exist because as the questions become harder to answer, the rules become harder to follow. This week, we have a Red episode, so the questions asked and topic discussed will probably not be family friendly. If you wanted to go check out a more PG version of this podcast, plenty of blue episodes, go check them out. Otherwise, stay right here. You're invited to keep listening. Lauren, just want to remind you if you have any different questions for me, throw them at me. You know I have to answer them. This is a conversational podcast. There's no interrupting. Quick but important disclaimers to my listeners. Everything is hypothetical. If I offend you, sorry, but yeah, you know you clicked on this. You can at me. It's your right. But I won't answer, but you can do it. Say it every week, but it's true. And lastly, before we begin, Lauren, is there anything you like to ask or declare, or any inherent judgmental biases you know you may have?
Mm, no.
None, zero.
I'm
All
sure
right,
I
cool.
have
Yeah,
biases, but
yeah, you're good. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Uh,
okay.
First question: zebra or giraffe?
Giraffe.
All right, next question. I'm kidding. Why giraffe? Just because they're just prettier looking?
It happens to be my favorite animal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's just it's a popular animal, and I know a lot of people love the giraffe because of the long neck thing. But I know it's your favorite. I just picked that out of nowhere, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it was a good sign.
All right, cool. Uh, how do you feel about zebras?
I mean, they're cool too.
Okay, okay. But if you were gonna ride one, you'd still pick a giraffe?
I just would choose to be around a giraffe if I had the opportunity.
Got it, got it. Okay. I think I picked zebra for the record, just for the record. Giraffes are nice. I don't see outside of them just being really cool looking. I zebra's like a horse to me, so I picked the zebra. Personally, I don't know. This just with the
Well,
practicality of
riding
riding
a
the thing.
giraffe would definitely be a better story.
That's true. It's true. But it doesn't seem like I can take my giraffe out on a what's it
On
called?
the
Like
open
on
prairie.
yeah, yeah. Or I'll fall off or something. But it is cool. It's a win-win. Next question. Would you rather be a nudist or be a never-nude?
I never nude.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that answer might surprise you.
Well, I mean, a little bit. You never know. Yeah, I never know what people are gonna say.
Okay.
Have you seen? I got the term never nude from a show, Arrested Development. Have you seen the show Arrested Development?
I have seen it, but I don't remember that term from it.
Uh, what's his name? David Cross, the character he plays in the show, is a never nude, quotations, and he just can't be nude. Like, and the most nude he gets is when he take off his shirt, he'll take off his pants, and then he'll take off his like other pants. He has shorts, and he'll have little tiny cutoff shorts. And that's as naked as he'll be. And with his wife, with anyone, that's as naked as he'll be. And he can't do it. He just can't be naked for even on by his own or in front of loved. He can't do it.
That's funny.
Is that what you imagined when you read that?
No, so it's kind of interesting because in the E&M community, I would say, well, not even just in the E&M community, but those are the people I talk to the most. There's a lot of people who enjoy being nude and they're like, oh, clothes are terrible. I actually love clothes and I enjoy being nude less. I'm always cold, so I think being nude is generally uncomfortable because I'm chilly. And so, on a very practical matter, I would choose never nude.
Okay, okay, okay. No, that makes a whole lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. But would it not frustrate you that you can't be nude? Because, like, even in the shower, because in the show that we're now using as reference for this question, even in the shower, he has on his little shorts. He can't take.
Mm.
So, are you willing to suffer that discomfort of just never being fully nude?
I mean, both sides have discomforts, right? It would also be uncomfortable to be nude at all times. So I'm still going to go with never nude.
Smart. True. Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm just trying to. It's always devil's advocate over here. So okay,
Of course,
okay,
I love it.
okay. This one, open-ended question, and yeah, answer the same way you want. But what is the maximum? What do you think is the maximum amount of romantic partners a person can have? Like before it gets out of hand, before one partner is suffering compared to the rest. Like if there's a magic number, of course, this would depend on the individuals involved. But if we're talking about one individual in relationship to people around them, man, woman, whatever, what is the maximum number in average, I guess, that they can have actual romantic partnerships with?
It depends. That's my answer. Depends on the person, depends on how involved the relationships are. It depends on the other partner and how much they're expecting from the partner, because this is something in E&M that you're always discussing is like, what is your commitment level to each other? Um, and I know my husband's a super efficient person. He could probably handle more relationships than I could. Um, so it really just depends on every single person.
Okay. That makes sense. But if I were to hold you to a number for the average Joe out there who like if you've seen enough people in these relationships for the average so and so, what would you like say like obviously start with one and get that right, but it's how would you say is like that's too many? If someone came up to you and they said I had 50, would you be like, yeah, or would you be like there's that can't would you be
Uh,
like that's not possible? I don't know.
Okay, well, let me put some definitions around it then. So, if
Okay.
this person was polyamorous, meaning they're like in full on committed, emotionally committed relationships with different people, I would say maximum three. Three
Oh,
is a
okay.
magic number. So, I'm just going to use three. I actually think, again, it really depends so much on the commitment level and the expectations in that particular relationship. So could people have more? For sure. But I'm just gonna throw that number
Hmm.
out there because we don't have stats to back up any of them anyway.
Yeah. No, good answer. Three, no, good answer, good answer. I have no idea. So, what would you say if it was a bit less, if it were a bit more loose, if it wasn't a full-on polyamorous relationship, it was a bit more just, I don't know, like a boyfriend girlfriend type situation. Would the number increase or is it still like three?
Well, a polyamorous relationship usually is a boyfriend or girlfriend situation in the way that we define it within monogamy, anyway.
Yeah.
I would say if we're going to talk about swingers who are typically not emotionally or in committed relationships with other people, then I'm going to say infinity.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking more in the married sense versus the we're
Yeah.
like we're talking, but it's like a we're dating situation. But yeah, no, yeah, if it's
Yeah.
about
Well,
swinging, it makes sense. Yeah,
in polyamory, it gets tricky because typically, and I always say I never speak in absolutes, so that's kind of hard for your show. But typically, in swinging, people have a primary partner, and then other relationships are obviously secondary. Um, in polyamory, someone may or may not have a primary partner. So it would also depend on if they have a primary partner, because if you have a primary, then obviously more of your energy is going to go probably towards that person.
yeah, like tiers, like a tier system. Like that's husband number one, that's husband number three. Like you, and they know where they lay, like they
Well, and
stand.
you can't have multiple husbands. So that would be husband number one and boyfriend number three.
And interesting. Interesting, interesting. Uh, we'll go on to the next question. If we're ready. But this one is this one's gonna be a weird one to say out loud versus writing it. But would you rather be able to give anyone an orgasm just by looking at them, and this can work through the phone and through the TV, or never have to pay for anything ever again? But that's just you.
Okay, clarifying question.
Mhm.
If I can give people orgasm through looking at them, can I give them orgasm other ways still?
Yeah, sure. You're not taking that away from you. Yeah, no. It's just,
Okay.
and this is a definite look. You're not going to accidentally look at someone. It's like this is a look that you have.
Intention.
Yeah, intentional. You can
With
intentionally do
orgasmic
this.
intention.
Exactly.
Okay. Then I'm still gonna go with everything paid for me. What or
Okay.
however you worded that. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy giving people orgasms, but come on. I feel like there's not really a big question in that one.
I feel like this. Really, I feel like I feel like there's a lot in both. Honest. I mean, never getting paid, never having to pay for anything is great for obvious reasons. But the first one is a superpower that is only positive, I think, almost. You can make someone look foolish. You can embarrass somebody. Like, and there's inopportune moments. You don't have to. There are times and there are not times to orgasm, and people need to know that. Like, if you're, if you, let's say, and worse the TV, like if there's a presidential candidate that you dislike and you just look at them and like out of nowhere, they go, oh, and like, what's wrong with that person? There's just so much you can do. I mean, it's not going to save any lives, or maybe it could. You can maybe save your own life with this, maybe. I don't know. If someone's trying to kill you and you give them that look, I mean, you can't, you can't gain your composure really fast from that automatic, sudden kind of what, it's not, I don't know. I feel like this is a superpower.
I mean, I think it could be a lot of fun. I also could find a lot of fun if everything was being paid for me.
Yes, that's true.
I don't
I'm,
feel like I have a lack of orgasms in my life. Let's put it that way.
okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you're like, it's fine. I get enough of I give and get, and
Although that question does have a lot of fun potential, just discussing the different scenarios like you just did of where you could have someone make someone have an orgasm. I like the presidential candidate one.
you could get rich too. Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Scroll to the page. Is everyone ready? Do a countdown. Three, two, one. You give the look. Everyone, for unexplained reasons, thousands, hundreds, and then eventually millions of people looking at their phones. I mean, there's a lot of
Orgasm
money
to the
in there.
masses,
There's a lot of money
yes.
in them. You will have everything paid for you. Keep if you use it right. But
That's true.
anyway, next question. Would you rather never be able to leave the state you are in now, or be only able to sleep with your original partner? In this case, we're going to say husband.
Yeah, I would rather just sleep with my original partner.
Okay.
So
This,
this is one probably misconception about being ethically non-monogamous is that somehow um, sex with our original partners gets diminished in some way or is not enough. And that is absolutely not the case. I would very happily live out my life having sex only with my OG.
okay. No, that makes a lot of sense too. I see how that can be like misconstrued too.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
also traveling is pretty much what I would say the closest thing I have to religion. So saying that I could never leave my state would make me very sad.
man. Would you say that the second option to not just sleep with your husband is a bit easier because you've been able to swing previously? Would you think like it? I don't know, like because you've been able to go outside of it already, that you're kind of like more comfortable with just staying with your OG, or is it like, do you like, would no, I would have picked that beforehand too.
I would have picked that beforehand too, because when I was monogamous, I really didn't know anything about non-monogamy, so I wouldn't have thought I was missing out.
Hmm. Very good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. We're just going through these. Uh, Speaking of monogamy, you're having
Yeah,
to follow things, but would you rather always have to follow the law of the land wherever you are to a fault, no matter what rule it is, or always pass out from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and nothing will wake you up between 10 to 6. And that
I would
is 2,200 hours to 6. That military time for those other people who use other time, military time for the rest of the world. Sorry, no, not saying that. Yeah. There's,
I would choose the second one.
huh. Okay.
I would choose the good night's sleep every night.
Okay. Okay. Uh,
Is that surprising to you?
yeah, actually, but care to explain your why?
Because I do like a good night's sleep, and I could certainly arrange my life to have fun during the daytime. So I don't really see how that would be so limiting. And actually, I'm one of those people that would probably like to go to bed every night at 10. I don't, but I would like to. So that was actually somewhat appealing, even.
Really? Okay, maybe this is just the difference between us two as people, because the second one actually concerns me in that nothing will wake you up between the time is the part that concerns me because I think of And what if I just want to stay up and I can't? Like, what if I'm driving and then I'm far away from home and I'm looking at the clock and it's 9:55. I'm like, like trying to race. I have 5 minutes to get to a bed or to pull over because I know once I'm out, I'm out. That would freak me out. And then like if it's even if it's New Year's and I want to stay up, to watch the New Year, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, where's Houston now? He's asleep
Yeah,
as always. Yeah,
that is
like.
a bummer for
You
New
want
Year's.
you want to
It's
go see
true.
this movie? It's what time's it start? 9? No. You have to drag me out the theater. Or like it just nighttime things that go past 10, I'm automatically barred from. And then in emergencies, oh, there's a fire. Where is he? And I'm like I'm knocked out and they can't wake me up. I'm at the mercy of whoever is around me to come get me. I mean that's why the second one was like, oh man. I mean to me.
Yeah, and are you generally a rule follower, so the first one doesn't seem like a big deal?
Oh no, no. How much do I want to admit on this thing? No, I am not generally a rule follower. I mean, I appreciate rules. They have their place, they are important, but a lot of them are really stupid. And you always need
Hmm.
to test the rules, and rules are kind of made up. I mean, it's there's all the ones we all can agree on as a people, like we're not gonna kill each other, like it's bad to steal, there's the general things. But then even if you look into those, even if the big rules, like, well, is it okay to kill someone if they're attacking you? Okay, well then, there's all these exceptions. And so if you follow all the rules to the letter, you're not really living, or you can be very constrained. Like there's just rules that sometimes don't make sense. Oh, stop at a stop sign. This is bad, but stopping at a stop sign. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning and there's no one at that stop sign and there's no one there, yeah, maybe you should stop. But if you roll through, who will know? Like a tree falling in the forest, who's gonna know? I mean, obviously there can be a police officer there, but if your only motivation for following the rules is punishment, then are you like, are you a good Samaritan, a good person for that, or what's the deal? So,
Yeah.
no, the first one bothers me a lot, but the second one also concerns me. I don't have an answer. It's there. I didn't answer this thing.
So you'd have to flip a coin on that one, maybe.
This one, maybe I would, because well, dang it. If I had to answer this one, I think I would. I think I would follow the law. As irritating as that is, I couldn't get into any trouble, or at least not out of my own fault. I couldn't. That's terrible. But I know like the law does allow for circumstances where you're allowed to defend yourself, and you can still bend the rules as much as you can with like lawyering or whatever. So. I think I might go with that. I mean, it's stupid to stop at a stop sign fully when there's no one around, but it also is safer. You are doing the right thing, and given your country, your state, whatever, has decent laws, it's okay to follow them. So I'm not like promoting not to follow rules. It's more inconvenient for my life, but it's like then I'm being good. Like I have to. Like I have no other choice but to be rule following, which is not bad.
It's a
It's
different way of
yeah.
living.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I picked that. Then just me not being able to wake up at a time where I'm needed would suck. Yeah. I don't know. That would really just, nah, I couldn't do that. Or
I,
maybe I could. I don't know. Maybe I should flip a coin. Sorry, I'm flip-flopping on this.
well, I'm thinking about after children and like getting no sleep whatsoever. I was like, I could just hire someone and be like, sorry, but from 10 to 6, I can't wake up. And like, that's a pretty good out, right?
I might pick what you picked, actually. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't have any kids, but what if I'm having a kid and it's like wife's in
Mm.
labor and when like, it's coming. I look at the clock, it's 10. I'm just, and I wake
Yeah,
up, oh, it's done.
you might have
It's
to
boring.
induce, at like 9 in the morning and make sure that happens.
Yeah, you have an hour. You have to like get it out now. I want to see it. No. Yeah. No, I might do that. It's I don't know. That one sucks. That one's hard.
Well, it's
This,
a good would you rather question if you can't really decide.
Yeah, often I do not answer these. I promise. They're just down, but I do not answer them. This isn't a would you rather question. This one's just open, and it's kind of like a word association task. I will list, I'll say a mode of transportation, and then you tell me what, like a fruit, that the first fruit that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
this could not be more random.
You got
Okay,
this.
okay.
Um, boat,
Eggplant. Or fruit or vegetable?
fruit.
I already broke the rules.
Is
Okay,
eggplant is a fruit, isn't it? Oh wait. It, I
ooh,
I think it is. No.
I don't know. Okay, boat. I'm
Okay.
gonna go banana.
Okay. Okay. Oh, banana boat. Okay, sorry. Uh Jeep,
I'm gonna go apple.
hmm, train,
I'm gonna go orange.
uh commercial plane,
Kiwi.
jet plane,
Pomegranate.
a steam engine train,
Hmm. Mandarin?
uh hot air balloon.
Ugh, I used it. The one that came to mind. Um, we're gonna run out of fruits here so soon. Let's see. Um, how about a pineapple?
Oh, okay. Huh? Okay. Submarine.
Um, watermelon.
Okay. Last one, rocket ship.
I'm really like drawing a blank on fruit. Okay, rocket ship fruit. We'll go, how about grapes?
Oh, okay. Okay. There, you did it. What was I couldn't even, what was was there any the tie, or was it straight off the dome association?
That was pretty much just at like answering as randomly as I feel like the question is.
Okay, it was a assigned
I mean,
resonance.
banana boat, there was something there, but
Okay. It's always interesting. I try to figure out what people meant by that. Some people just sometimes there's a link, and other times it's I don't know.
yes.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of randomness, which this whole show is, but would you rather
Hmm.
get stuck to your partner right after sex, and this like I think this will be pretty much an ongoing thing, kind of every time, or always be the one to give oral and never receive for the next 5 years.
Okay, on the first one, clarifying question, what
Hmm.
do you mean by like physically stuck to that person? And for
Physically.
how long?
Let's make this has to be bad. So an hour and a half physically, like it's unavoidable.
Well, if I'm having sex with them, I must like them. So let's
Hmm.
see. That or never receiving oral sex again.
Well, for 5 years. So once 5 years is up, you can
Oh,
then receive. It's 5 year or thing for that one.
okay, we have time limit. Okay. Um, you know what? I'm gonna go stuck with my partner for an hour and a half. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of interesting conversation, that's for sure.
You, you want to, I don't know, ask your husband to get his opinion on this. Well, it seems like you're
Yeah, it
you're
might be
you're
a
dooming
boundary.
someone
I
else.
do
Like
have to
yeah,
check with my
yeah, like
husband.
you're pulling someone else into this. Like hey, wait, hold on. Like, it's a I mean, it's an activity. You're gonna be hope no one shows up afterwards, or it's one thing to kind of just like, oh, we have someone shows up. You're like, oh, we have to get dressed. It's another thing to be like, oh, we're stuck. Nope, clear the calendar for the next hour and a half. It's fine. You're you're like, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're set up to have downsides on both sides, right? So I I think I could find more fun with the hour and a half.
You just talk. You just
Yeah, totally. I love
yeah,
talking. That's why I'm on podcasts a lot.
gotcha. About the second one.
I mean, I could
Yeah.
ask them, I could play games with them, like what fruit association they have with transportation.
I don't know if that's gonna last 30 minutes. We run out of fruit. I almost ran out of transportation. So I don't submarine is a weird one. But I don't have you never heard the platitude, it's better to give than to receive? Eh? Eh?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really like giving oral, so that part is not so bad. I could even give up receiving for 5 years. But given that I think I could have fun being stuck to someone an hour and
What?
a half after, I don't know. And balances out for me.
What? Really? I'm not so judgmental, but I can't help it.
I know, I
Now,
think I'm surprising you with some of my answers here.
I mean, that's always good, but that's what pushed it. It was that you can you can have fun with an hour and a half. It's like, yeah, yeah, that's built-in quality time. Yeah, we had our fun. It's done. Now we have to talk for about an hour and a half. You want to watch a movie? No? Okay, how about a board game? Twister, psych,
A
we
movie,
can't.
there you go. Problem solved.
A movie. Yeah, where you're breathing down each other's like bodies for the next man. Okay, yeah, no, I am shocked. Sorry, but great answer, fun answer. Would you rather have 9 lives or oh, again, free food, but it's just for you at restaurants?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9 lives.
Okay. Well, begs the question, what would you do with your 9 lives?
I think the big downside on the 9 lives is, the overriding question of do we want to be alive a lot longer than our people? So that's a good question. But I suppose then you could start to end some of your lives to make that process a little quicker. Whereas on the other hand, you never know when you're going to die. So if you had 9 lives, it certainly eases that fear, right? So that's why
Hmm.
I chose that one.
Okay. But for you personally, though, it's more about the ease of fear. So it's kind of like you wouldn't really abuse the lives or purposely start burning through them. It's kind of like a life insurance type deal.
Yeah, I think so. And I for sure can be around for as long as I want to, unless I get
Okay.
into a lot of accidents.
Yeah, someone's out to get you. So let's say it's like a life insurance deal, and you naturally live your life out to when you're supposed to die.
Hmm.
You're like, and let's go with the best outcome here. Like it's like in your hospital bed that you're at your old age, all your loved ones around you, and you die. Then you wake up again the next day, like in the same hospital bed, essentially. But like you're still in bad condition, but you're also not on death's door. Then you live another day, and then you do that for 9 more days. Like you kind of bought yourself an extra just 9 days of life, considering nothing happened to you. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's fine.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
I'd be like, as my final trick, I'm going to stay alive for 9 days.
Actually, but Lauren, you actually clinically died 6 times.
That would be
Yeah,
really interesting too, to clinically die that many times.
yeah, and you just keep coming back. Like if you
And
live
then you could tell
that long,
people like what
yeah,
happens in the dying process. I mean, there's all
that's
kinds of
true.
upsides there.
That's true. And you get to do it 5 to 9, like you get to do it that many times. Like, no, for sure that happened. Like I saw it like this is my fourth time. I know I'm
Yeah,
gonna say it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
If someone could just write this book really quick on the one day that I'm going to be alive, we can solve all that problem.
yeah. Great to great answer. For the fun of the season, would you
Sure.
rather own a flying broom or have those vampire hypnotizing eyes?
I'm going to go flying broom.
Okay. Not worried about like people shooting you out of the sky or anything like that, or saying, which, like, you're like, ah, it's fine.
Well, I don't think I would be burned at a stake these days for that. And to your point, I mean, I think I could make a lot of money on TikTok and Instagram if I'm flying around on a broom.
I mean, true. People, no, hold on. People, oh, that's fake. Ah, AI. Ah, Photoshop.
Well, then I'll go to Vegas and create a show out of it.
Got it, got it. Huh,
And it would just
cool.
be fun. I mean, how could you pass up the opportunity to fly?
That's true. But manipulating people. I don't know, him with the hip, with him with the gaze or looking at people, you can really mess some things
Yeah,
up.
you've got something with this gaze.
If
There's a
it looks,
second question that
if
has the gaze implication.
if looks can kill, I'm saying it's a thing. It's a it'll be a very fascinating thing. I mean, it's how moral it is up is for negotiation, but it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and I'm not harming anyone by flying my own broom, I don't think. So
True. What if someone stole the broom from you though? They can't steal
it
your
doesn't
eyes.
fly. When other people steal it, it doesn't fly. It's only my broom.
Well, you got me there. Great answers. That's a great place to like end it there. Just want to hand over the spotlight to you. Lauren, is there anything you want to tell listeners or plug in general? Is there anything you want to say? Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say that if you're interested in learning more about what I do or even about non-monogamy, my website is swinginglifestylecoach.com. Lots of education there, actually, just a blog and other resources. And then also something fun that I launched recently. So there's a reality TV show I don't know if you heard about called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's in Utah, so it's a big deal around here. I live in Utah.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine and I launched a podcast called The Examined Lives of the Secret Wives. And we just follow that show. And on each episode, we comment about. So my partner on the show is Polly, and I'm swinging. So there's like an interesting mix between E and M there because those women were supposedly swingers. So if you haven't watched it yet, spoiler alert, it's just supposedly.
Hmm.
Um, but so we also talk about how there's a kind of a lot of Mormon education in the podcast as well. So, and there's a very interesting uh, overlap between the Mormon community and the E&M community. And so, if you want to know what the interesting overlap is, then you'll have to go listen to that podcast.
Ooh, that's a nice plug. That's a nice, really nice plug. Yeah, I have heard of that show. For my ends, it looked just kind of strange. Of like, what? Why? What is this? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I agree with you. I'm not actually much of a reality TV person, but when that was coming out, the whole E&M community was super annoyed because they were slanted as these swingers, which is actually the hook that got people interested in the show, which is an interesting thing because it's like using the negativity of being a swinger for their profit, which is annoying. So that was kind of the basis of the show. We were like, we all hate it when our community is represented by people who know nothing about the community.
mm, that makes sense. Yeah, when I saw it, I thought I don't know anything about Mormonism outside of the Book of Mormon, which again I don't know anything about. I just know that's the distinguishing difference for Mormons as opposed to like practicing Christians or Catholics. And so I was like, I don't know if polyamory is like a thing, like if that's normal for Mormons or not. But in my head, I was like, when I saw, I was like, I
It's
guess
not.
maybe that's a
It's
thing.
definitely
Oh, it's
not.
not a thing? Okay. Thank you for
No.
educating me just
You
now. I was
might
like,
be
I don't
thinking
know.
about polygamy. A lot of people
Sorry, polygamy.
associate
Sorry.
polygamy with
Yes.
the Mormons. That's also not a thing any
Okay.
longer. That's in their way past.
Okay.
Small exception with some fundamentalists, but it's not even worth talking about. So generally, no. And also, polygamists are not included in what we would call the non-monogamy community.
Mm. Straight up learning stuff right now. Thank you, Lauren, for being on. Thank you, listeners of the show, for liking, rating. Rating helps a lot. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Appreciate it. Yeah, share this with your friends, share this with your enemies, and everyone stay safe. Bye. As always, follow my music producer D800, D-800 at BeatStars or SoundCloud.com.